Thank you for joining us today. It is my distinct pleasure to be able to do Miss Kyra Mitchell Lewis today. How you feeling?
Good. I feel good. It's Saturday. Weather's nice, in and out. Had some rain. I went to go outside to the trash
Yeah.
can and it was raining. And then I came back in and then the sun was out again. So, hey,
Yeah. Gotta love this Georgia slash Florida weather.
exactly.
Let's start off. Let's start off. Let's introduce you to the people. Tell me who you are without necessarily telling me what you do.
Oh, you know what? That is a great question and a good thing to start with because it lets me test my fascinate advantage, my anthem. So I
Oh,
am an unconventional creator. So if you know me, you know what that means. And you know that that applies very well to me. But it really just means that I am an out of the box thinker. As most people that know me hear me always say that I like to throw things at the wall and see if they stick. I don't like to do things necessarily by the book. I am a trial by fire. I just put it out there and I see what happens.
I love that. That's an awesome answer. Very, very good. And it does give people insight to your personality. There's like a bravery there, a courage there. So very good. All
Yes.
right. So we got to hear about this Glow Up Girl movement. Tell me a little bit about Glow Up Girl and where does that vision come from?
Well, Glow Up Girl started, it came from a table talk with God. That's what I say, because that's really
Mm,
how it came to me. But it came as a part of my journey in 2019 that you have been a part of. In July of 2019, I started therapy. I went into therapy saying, oh my gosh, I'm overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed. And I was overwhelmed. There's no lie there. But the truth is that I was overwhelmed because Kyra did not have any boundaries. And
mm,
I was never going to find any boundaries until I made a change for myself. So, through, as I like to refer to, that comes from the book of Kori.
yeah. You better see about yourself, right?
And also, something you said to me very early on is that you have to teach people how to treat you.
Mm,
That in a lot of sessions and a lot of practice and a lot of starting to truly love myself, because a lot of times we just think like, oh yeah, I love me, of course
hmm
I do. But you don't always, the way you let other people treat you is a very like firm reminder of how much you actually truly love you. So in December, I was sitting at the table the last week of December, like most people, reflecting on the year. But I was really just praying about, God, what do you want me to do next? Because this journey that I've been on has been amazing. And I've been talking to a lot of my friends and a lot of people women at work. And I would always hear the same thing. Oh my gosh, like I need to go to therapy, but I mean, I'm going to look into that. And people never really, some people don't cross that line. They just say, I'm going to. But I heard sitting at that table, glow up. And
mm.
of course, I did. I looked around. I
You're
was
like,
like,
wait,
wait,
what?
what? But I heard those words and I was like, oh, I got it, God. Like, it's been an internal glow up for me.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know the word glow up in today's terms means someone's appearance who has changed, and that person now is like, bloomed and they're just gorgeous to everybody on the outside. But what I want to do, what Glow Up Girl is here to do, is to help you get your inside together. It
Right.
starts with you and it starts internally. And then if you are beautiful and you are blooming on the inside, man, it's going to be pretty
There's no
powerful.
stopping you.
That's right. So I
Yeah.
heard that and I started to then try to figure out what was Glow Up Girl going to be. I wanted it to be something that mattered, something that was
hmm
a resource, and something that would help other women to get to a place of the feeling that I had. Like I was just like,
Yeah.
man, I want everybody. If I could bottle this up and give it to people,
Mm.
that's that's exactly what I wanted to do. But so I started to just plan and started to put a strategy in place. I knew I wanted to create a community for women. I wanted to be a platform where they could come in, they could connect to other women, they could learn from the information that we provide, and then they would be able to also share their information as well. So, but all within that, it was like it would be an evolution of who they are. They would be evolving as people. And
Right.
that is really where it started. I launched the Glow Up Girl in March, right when our good friend coronavirus impacted everything that we know. And I, just like everybody else in the world, had to decide like, how do I pivot? What do I need to do to
Mhm.
ensure that I can still connect to women? Because for me, it was just so important. I mean, like I said, going through my own journey, I just wanted to be able to like sprinkle just a little bit of what
Yeah.
I have been learning and learning about myself and share that with other women. So I launched the site and I started doing social media and started doing, all the usual things that we do. But it was in May that I was again sitting at the same kitchen table, having the same table
Mm.
talk with God, and I heard Kyra start a podcast. And I was
Mm.
like, wait, what?
Like, oh, that's out of my comfort zone. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, and first of all, God, like nobody wants to hear me talk. Like I know I love to hear me
Mhm.
talk, but I don't know that I have anything to share, with the world. But I heard it so firmly and so clear that I knew that I needed to do it. So I launched the Glow Up Girl podcast in May, and it has been the single most like life changing thing for me this year. And the probably the thing that I feel has had the most impact and what we've been able to do and what I've been able to do at Glow Up Girl, because I'm able to bring real life people and their stories, and people that are sharing inspiration, people that are providing tips and resources and tools, and then just some people that are there because they're cool people and
Right.
you just want to share them with the world. So it's definitely been a journey. And like I said, I launched this in March and here we are in September. I'm just uber excited. As anybody who knows and
Mhm.
listens to the
Mhm.
podcast, I'm always excited about something, but I'm beyond like full because of what I've been
Yeah.
able to do and what I feel like I'm able to give back to women.
I love it. And it radiates. Like it's so apparent. It's not just something you're saying. You could feel it. Even virtually. It's very apparent. But what's one of the challenges that's kind of come up from either launching the podcast? Because you're right. A lot of people say, I'm going to start therapy, and the fear or procrastination, whatever, kicks in. But they also say, I want to do a podcast, and they don't actually bring it to fruition. So,
Mhm.
what's some of the challenges you face with the podcast specifically?
I would say definitely not knowing anything about doing a podcast was number one. So I just started, and oh gosh, the first episode I recorded, God bless Lauren, who was my guest on the first one. I mean, I was using a free app to record, and, and it was like when the person joins, it immediately starts to record. So then I was trying to do it on earbuds and not headphones and a real microphone. Imagine. And
Mhm.
she was coming through crystal clear, and I was coming through like muffled, and it sounded like I was like way back there, and my mic was like here. So so those are things that are learning moments. I think
Yeah.
also just
Mhm.
trying to figure out like what guests, how do I get guests? How do I get people to come
Sure.
on and do this? And in the beginning, I mean, I released the episode and then I went a while before I released the second episode. But just sort of starting to do research and looking at webinars from other
Mhm.
people who are successful sort of helped me to figure out like, oh, I need to get this mic. Oh, I can use
Good.
this actual application, this desktop application I can use. So now, like I have a real system in place where I have a
Right.
program that I use versus the free app. And so I've tried to get
Right.
better, with the quality of the podcast content as well as the quality of the production of it. So
Right.
so that was I would say that was a challenge, because
Huh.
and then there are things like, obviously I have a job. So I have
Right.
another job, and then I have this job, and then I have a personal job as a wife.
Yeah.
So it's
Hmm.
it's still trying to find that balance in doing all those things, things that I love, having an everyday job. Well, when I'm during the day, that is what I'm doing. And then I'm working on Glow Up Girl in between and on the weekends and at night. And then I'm finding times to
Hmm.
be, Fur Baby's Max's mama and be
Yeah.
my husband's, wife at the same time. So
Hmm.
it's a challenge, but I go back to the lessons, that I've been able to learn from my journey in therapy to make sure that I'm still carving out that time, for myself, as
Right.
well as being able to pour into all of these other things in my life.
Right. But you said the key word is balance. It's balance
Mhm.
and making sure that when you are full, you're totally satiated and you're in your passion
Mhm.
and your purpose. So it probably doesn't
No,
feel like work when you're working on Glow Up Girl.
no, not at all. I actually lose track of time. I mean,
I bet.
and and there's like this excitement on the weekends because I know the weekends are where I have the time to work on Glow Up Girl.
Yeah.
So I'm like getting up in the morning like I'm going to work. And
Right.
my husband's just like, well, I mean, can't you just rest? And I'm like, no,
Hmm.
because it's like if I'm not working hard for my business, like who is going
Yeah.
to? So
Right.
yeah.
That's another key point too. Investing, not just that time, but investing in the right equipment. People don't realize you can't expect to have a quality product, like an actual product to deliver to people
Hmm.
if you're not investing in yourself. And it comes back to you tenfold. So it's an investment that always has a great return. So I'm
Yes.
really, I'm glad you understood that. A lot of people are afraid of that mindset of lack. Well, if I spend 80 for a microphone, listen, you'll get that back tenfold.
Exactly. Yes, for sure.
Um, what is something that people would not know about Kyra? Like, what's something that you think that they wouldn't know that you would want to kind of introduce to people? Like a
Ugh.
personal quality.
Let's see. I don't know. Feel like there are so many like things. But people that don't know me, I do think I'm funny. I
Hmm.
feel like I could be a comedian, or I'm not gonna say that I could be a comedian, but I would say I would
Mm.
do well on something like a Saturday Night Live, which is when I was growing up, which is
Ooh,
yeah,
improv.
which is when I was growing up, I actually thought that I would end up in either on Sports Center because I love sports and always
Yep.
like wanted to like intern at ESPN, always watch Sports Center like as a
Mm.
child. And then I loved watching Saturday Night Live. And I always was like, you know what? That would be
Hmm.
so cool. And and I've been known for, a quick comeback, like from time to time.
Yeah.
So I definitely,
So witty. Yeah.
yes,
Hmm.
my
Hmm.
wit is something that I'm very proud of. So it's
Right.
definitely that's probably something that most people, because I mean, in my world, you never really talk about like, oh, what's something you would like to do or something that you think you're good at. People don't
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love that.
know.
Let's see. What advice would you give someone? You've given a lot of great advice already as far as investing and finding balance and really just being quiet enough and intuitive enough to hear. You're talking about God speaking to you. You won't hear that if you're not quiet enough. But what's
Hmm.
some other advice you would give to somebody who really wants to pursue their passion and purpose?
Yeah, I would definitely say to have a plan.
Hmm.
Definitely sit down and figure out like how to go about doing what you want to do. I would definitely also recommend to pay attention to other people in the industry. Like of
Smart.
course, I mean, like I follow a lot of organizations and businesses that are similar to mine. I attend their events because you only learn from being able to like, obviously there's a person you probably admire in your industry. So you need to like
Yeah.
pay attention to that. You need to watch them, see what they're doing. And then also I would say try and connect to people
Yeah.
and connect to people that are in your industry. And, I talked about, when we talked earlier about casting a wide net, like I am,
Yeah.
as you say, closed mouths don't get fed. And
Sure won't. You're gonna starve, and you're gonna be worried about, well, what is the worst somebody could say besides no?
exactly,
No. Those two little letters, they're only gonna have the power you allow them to have. So I love that.
exactly,
That is great advice to really just don't limit yourself. Don't have limiting beliefs when it comes
right.
to your passion and purpose, right?
Yeah.
You're almost in your own way. Perfect.
Yes. I mean, yeah, so true.
What are some of the best resources that have helped you? You talk about, really getting out there, and that's and
Hmm.
finding someone in your lane. Don't reinvent the wheel. That's beautiful advice because there's somebody there that can help you and you don't have to bump your head as much. But what are some other resources that have helped you along the way?
Yeah. Like I said, I think that really connecting and talking to people. One thing that
Hmm.
being at home and being in the midst of a pandemic has given me is the opportunity to connect to people that I may not have connected to. I have no problem if I find somebody on Instagram and reaching out, sending them a DM. I'm sliding all the way, slide into the
All the
DMs
way. Slip.
and
Right.
and asking and saying, hey, like, can we Zoom, can we do, can we just chat, just to
Yeah.
try to make different connections. And guess what, not
Yeah.
everybody will be a fit, but you will
Yeah.
take something, I guarantee you'll take something away. I've also
Yeah.
been sitting in on a lot of like virtual seminars and webinars
Good.
this year.
All
Like
right.
I love like Create and Cultivate. They're an organization who, they help women entrepreneurs. Like they're all about building that sense of community. And I
Hmm.
sit in and I've met actually some great people that I'm now collaborating with via some of their events. So I would say definitely like pay attention, read books. Books are just,
Hmm.
an endless like resource. I like
Hmm.
to read Fast Company. I like magazines
Hmm.
like that. I like to just, um, I like just searching the internet. Google, yes,
Yeah.
Mr. Google, as I call him.
Right. Mr.
Definitely.
Google, help me.
Yes. I mean, you'll find a lot of things and you'll find a lot of people,
Yes.
but just just keep an open mind about resources and trying to connect to someone. If you can find another person or if you can find a group for entrepreneurs,
Yes.
that is always good, and have that type of support. And that's a thing that I think will help you along the way.
Oh, yeah. And we are, like you said, I think the pandemic has forced us to understand that we're being quiet and kind of still for a reason. You can access a wealth of information that you would have
Right.
never been able to before because you're talking about being able to like hop on a Zoom call with someone in a totally different state or go
Yeah.
through a webinar or something that you wouldn't have had the time to do. So,
Yes. Yeah.
utilizing this time and all the virtual resources is
Yes. Yes.
so key.
I would also
Yes.
say
Very.
another thing that I tried
Mhm.
that definitely took me outside, was totally outside of my comfort zone, is it's called the Lunch Club. And it is a
Hmm.
virtual,
Oh,
it's
that's
like
good.
an AI situation where you actually get to meet, you get paired with different people. So it could be people in your industry, it could be people that you're trying to explore other opportunities. If you're a business and you're looking for like a co-founder or you're looking for an investor, you get paired with people all around the world. And it's like a 45-minute
Wow.
call. You connect, you have a Zoom or a Google Meet, whatever you desire, and you get to meet
Mhm.
somebody new. And I've met some pretty interesting people over
Wow.
the last 2.5 months. And it's just that I would have never had time to do that if I were just like sitting
Right.
in an office all day. And so it's just those opportunities because I get to share. Most people aren't really interested in talking to me about my everyday job. Most people ask me about Glow Up Girl. They're like, so let's talk about Glow Up
Yeah.
Girl. So,
Yeah.
so
Right.
that's another way to find ways to just like expand your virtual network.
Yes. And you really have no limitations. Again, you can literally do that. So will you be able to give them information about the lunch club? I think that is so like supportive, and for people to be able to, can you put a link or something in?
Yeah, yeah, yep, I definitely can.
Awesome. Yeah, well, awesome. That's a great resource. Give me three qualities or characteristics that you possess that have kind of helped you along the way. Three qualities or characteristics, just
Hmm.
adjectives about
I would probably say that I'm resilient. Um,
you.
I I mean I don't stop. Like I will keep pushing. My current manager always tells me that she's like, God, you have more stamina than anybody that I know. I don't know how you do it. It's just like I'm like, no, because I can get this done. And I don't care.
Nice.
I don't care if it's gonna take me all night, but I am resilient and I don't like we talked about earlier. No, I mean no to me is just okay, well that's not God's thing for me. That's not the timing. That's your loss, and I'm going to keep moving.
Hmm. Good.
I also think too that being disciplined. And
Hmm.
I wasn't always like so anybody who's gonna clock back to the 2000s that would be like, who that girl?
Hmm.
But I would probably
Discipline.
say
Yeah.
I would say like
You develop
learning,
it. Yeah.
yeah, learning and developing self-discipline is just has been so key because even from just, when I was waking up at 4:30 in the morning just so I could work out and
Hmm.
then still get to work at 7:30. I mean, that is because that's inside of me and that's what I need to do,
Yeah.
and a lot of people won't do that. Like even now, I mean, I get up at 6:30 to work out and I'm sitting
Yep.
at my desk and ready to go by like about 7:45, 7:50. But that's
Wow.
important to me, and I do a lot of Peloton workouts and I love Robin Arzon. Because her workouts that she
Hmm.
talks about is it's really about like that pushing yourself to be focused and to be
Yep.
disciplined. And then also, which she always makes the statement that in these 15, like these workouts are 15 to 20 minutes, and they go hard for 15, 20
Wow.
minutes on core or strength or whatever. And the thing that she says is like, in these 15 to 20 minutes, you are doing more than some people do all day.
The whole day. Right.
And and that's really
That's
something. Yeah,
powerful. That's powerful.
it's really something to think about. So whereas I used to like, I would, sort of shy away from the fact that that I was disciplined and that I was able to be focused on my goal. Now I'm like, nope. Because because you know what, check, because that's why I'm doing these things,
Yep.
and you can sit there and just stay in your lazy lane, but I refuse, like,
Hmm.
not going to. And then the last thing I would say is probably, I think I'm very like, I'm very hopeful.
Mm.
I am
Huge.
like, I mean, I always see the glass as like full. It's always
Right.
full until it's not. And I
Right.
always just
So that last drop.
exactly. And then that's when I'm like, Dr. Corey, let me tell you. But I do. I
Yeah.
always try to look for the silver lining and the positive in things. In any aspect of my life. I mean, obviously you get to hear all of it, so you know all of it. But just from even like in your
Hmm.
everyday jobs, people, like there are going to be things that you don't want to do. But I always try to find a way to make it ownable and make it my own. And remember that I want to make something better for my customer. Just like with Glow Up Girl,
Right.
I want to be able to help women to find balance and live in their purpose. And everybody's
Hmm.
journey is different. And balance looks different for everyone. While I may still
Right.
today, someone is like, well, you're doing all that. There's not balance. But if you know from where I came,
Right.
it is
Right.
it's definitely night and day.
Awesome. All right. Very good. And can you share the name of So I love, and this one thing I've seen with you on Instagram, I know I told you earlier, you're so dedicated and very disciplined with your content on Instagram. But can you share the name of the group of like what you call anyone who is like a part of Glow Up Girl?
Oh
What do you call
yes.
them?
Oh my gosh, glow getters.
I love it. I love
Go.
it because it's a try. It's literally that village of like people
Yes.
want to belong to something. People want to feel supported, and I love that name. And every time I see it, like, "Hey, Glow Getters, how are we doing today?" People can really respond to that, and that resonates with people. So I wanted
Yeah.
you to make sure you kind of shouted out your Glow Getters now.
And you know, it's so funny. I have to give credit to my coworker and my work husband, Sergio, because when I was walking him through my plan and telling him, you know, walking him through the strategy for Glow Up, and he was like, "Oh, you should call your like followers. They should be like glow getters." And I was like, "Sergio, you might be on to something." So I give him his
You did
credit.
something there. He
Yeah,
said a word there. I didn't know that. I didn't know
yeah.
Sergio came up with
Yeah,
that.
I give
Nice.
Sergio gets the credit for that one, but it definitely is it's pretty awesome, and it's awesome to belong to a community and have a
Yes.
place where you know you can talk. And you know, one of the things you and I have talked about, I mean, we definitely, a reason behind starting Glow Up Girl was that you're always hearing women not prioritizing themselves, B,
Right.
women not feeling like they had a safe space to
Yes.
openly talk. Now, I have safe space because I go to therapy, but all the people
Right.
out there that don't actually are not able to or haven't made taken that first step yet, they were sort of like, oh, I want, like, people are keeping things bottled up. And yeah,
Yeah.
and they and third, you know, people that have businesses or people that are wanting to start something or have an idea, is being able to find that community of people that
Yeah.
can be your cheerleaders, because we all need that.
Right. And share those resources like the lunchroom or things they wouldn't think about. Like, hey, I want to start a podcast. What microphone are you using right now? Like,
Exactly.
creating that space
Mhm.
for them. And it's so important to be seen and to feel heard. That is a need. Connection
Yes.
is a need, but to feel acknowledged is a need too. So I think that all your glow getters are kind of getting that too.
Yeah.
Um, so what's a quote you can share with people? Because I know there's down times. I know there's times when you do get overwhelmed.
Mhm.
What's a quote that kind of brings you through in those moments?
Well, in my case, it's actually is a scripture, and it is my
Hmm.
probably my one of my favorite scriptures from the Bible, Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. And that is whenever, whenever I'm like,
Hmm.
oh my God, not today. Should I just quit? Should I stop? I always remember that
Yeah.
my story is written. I'm just
Written.
playing, I am
Right.
playing a part in my own life. So I remember that, and I
Right.
think about it that, you know, no, he already has greatness written for me. And all I need to
Right.
do is
And you
show
can't
up.
see it.
Yep. I just need to
Yep.
show up.
And be patient.
Yep.
Mhm.
Exactly.
I love that. It's like preparation meets opportunity type of thing where even if you can't see it, it's coming. Yeah, like you said, it's just really like preparation meeting opportunity and being patient in those moments. Very good.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, so we all know the joy in life is in the journey. Well, I hope everybody knows that. Because there are a lot of ups and downs. But if you could sum up the journey, if you could sum up the journey of Glow Up Girl and really these glow getters experience, if you could sum up that Glow Up Girl journey in one word, what would it be?
Evolution.
Evolution.
Because yep, it's all about evolving. I always say to people, if you're not evolving, you may as well die. If you're
Yep.
not still growing, changing, you should just go ahead and just get by it. It's definitely what I want women to do, is to become the best version of you that you can be. As you told me before, no one can get the best Kyra. You can't get the best of me if I'm like struggling, or if I'm overwhelmed, or if I don't love me first. So when we're happy and we're in our purpose and our passion, we're able to
Mhm.
give so much more, because we all know that as women we want to give. Like, that's what we are by
Yeah.
nature. We're
Yep.
always helping
Mm-hmm.
other people to people.
Yep.
When we're able to be in that passion and that purpose, then we'll be able to like give the best, our like 150% to everybody all the
Right.
time.
Yep, because we are inherent nurturers, like you said, and it's very important to have
Yeah,
balance with that. But I love that word evolution because it implies there's going to be down times. I think people think that when you're
yeah,
in your passion and purpose, it just all works out. And then when it stops working out, they stop or they lose faith. And that's when you really need to
yeah.
buckle up and hold on because the good is still yet to come. So, love that word.
Yes, yes.
All right. So describe the future of Glow Up Girl. Like in a year, where do you see it? In 5 years, where? Because it's boundless, it's limitless. So describe the future of Glow Up Girl.
Right. Well, I would definitely say for the immediate future, and next year we will be launching Glow Getters University. So,
Whoa,
yes,
Glow Getters University. Time to
yes,
go to school.
yes, time to go to school, ladies. So it
Level
really
up.
will be an opportunity, just that, yep, for those, for two tracks we'll start with. One is around building your personal brand. So there will be a
Yeah.
course where you will learn how to, put your best self in the spotlight. And then the
Mm-hmm.
second track will be all around entrepreneurship. So it is taking that idea that you have and being able to turn it into a business. I would say 5 years from now, I see Glow Up Girl as a global platform,
Mm-hmm.
being able to not only help women, but also to be able to physically help them in the sense of we're funding businesses, we're
Yeah.
providing seed money for startups, we're helping women to actually to start that dream. So you came to us, you have this idea, now we're going to help you bring it to life. Because I just think about like all the time, I'm like, God, if I just, all I need is a chance, I just need an opportunity.
Yeah.
And a lot of
Yeah.
other women just need a chance and opportunity, and I want to be able to provide that, and also want to be able to employ women to be able to
Mm-hmm.
have that opportunity to pour back into other women. So I see it, I can see it, I see it in my dreams.
Mm-hmm.
I see it,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just, gonna enjoy the journey of getting there, because I
Mm-hmm.
don't take it for
Yeah.
granted. I don't take one day, whether it's a good day for Glow Up Girl, whether it's a bad day for Glow Up Girl. There's always a learning in it,
Yeah.
and I try to reflect on, okay, well, that didn't work out, and I don't just sit in. I don't allow to let it take residency in my brain.
Mm-hmm.
I,
Nope. No
I
free rent.
yeah, yeah. So I just hear it and I'm like, okay, well, maybe, okay, I got it. And then I move on to the next thing.
Perfect. And not internalizing it as a failure, because have you really failed if you learn something?
Exactly. Yeah. Because I got a
Yeah.
lot of failures. I mean, I was a serial entrepreneur. So I've had a lot of things that I've done that did not pan out. But I mean, when it's in your deep down in your bones and in your
Mm-hmm.
spirit, that you know that God is calling you to do more, you can't stop. You can't stop that. I'm like
Yeah.
Diddy, can't stop,
Yeah.
won't stop.
Yeah, right. Can't. And it won't. Like you said, you just keep on,
Yeah,
digging deep and you find that resolve, you find that resilience. You know what I mean?
yeah.
You can't reproduce. That's something that people either have or they don't. And it is truly like the definition of a glow getter. Like, I'm not going to let this perceived L, because is it really an L? Am I taking an L if I'm learning?
Right.
Is it a
Yeah,
loss? Is it a loss or am I learning? Right? Like, you
exactly.
got to even reframe or redefine what an L is for you. But
Yeah.
just sitting back and watching this empire grow and seeing where it starts, like the inception of it to where it is now to where it's going to go, I can tell you on the outside looking in, it's very like motivating. It's so motivating to see you do this. It's not easy to put in the work. Everybody loves to eat the sausage. Nobody likes to see how hard it is to make the sausage type of thing.
Hmm.
So you're
Hmm.
putting in the work. And I want to affirm for you in this moment that I see you and I definitely hear you as far as the foundation you're laying that other women who are not even aware yet. There's people that are going to benefit from what you're doing today and you don't even know them yet. So
Yeah.
keep going, keep staying focused. And outside looking in again, as one woman business owner to the next, I'm very proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
Of course, of course. I love it. Gold star for Kyra.
Awesome, awesome.
Gold star, gold star, put it right here. All right, well, we'll definitely wrap up this interview. Thank you for your time. Thank you for really putting forth the effort to let these goal getters really know who you are and letting people that might not have known who you are so far really be introduced to you and your mindset and sharing that joy and motivation with people. So thank you.
Awesome. No, thank you. I appreciate you taking the time to sit down with me.